I enjoy using Anchor podcasting services. For one, it's an easy setup. Secondly, you can do everything on the same platform, which includes record and then add music to your podcast if you like. And once your podcast has been saved, you can then distribute it to other platforms with the click of a button. And did I mention that it's free? You couldn't ask for anything better than this. Hello, Bringing the Heat listeners. This is your host, Regina Weston. For the month of October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I will be strictly talking on topics that is related to domestic violence, coming from different lenses of domestic violence. I hope that you will learn something that can help you or someone else that is in a situation that is unhealthy. Please stay tuned. Mind control. Controlling behavior is when one person expects, compels, or requires others to cater to their own needs, even at others' expense. The controlling person targets an individual and dominates them in an unhealthy, self-serving manner. Thank you for tuning into Bringing the Heat with Regina Weston. Here we inspire and deal with topics that matter. Stay tuned. Hold up and wait a minute, Bringing the Heat listeners. To find out about all things Regina, visit my website at www.reginaweston.com. There you can purchase all my books and learn more about my nonprofit organization, which is Mending Hearts, Women Healing Women. And if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by using my Cash App, $RWeston252. Now let's get into it. Today, the topic is mind control, but I'm talking about domestic violence. And I use the word mind control because abusers brainwash you to believe that you need them, that you would never be nothing without them, and that they are the only ones that's going to love you and treat you right. First off, let me start by giving you the domestic violence hotline number. It's 1-800-799-7233. Anyone under the sound of my voice that's in a situation that is unhealthy, call the domestic violence hotline. There are people that can aid and assist you. You may just need someone to talk to, because I know that it's not easy for someone just to get up and restart their life when they are in a situation that's unhealthy. I'm not ignorant to that. I know that we live in a real world and we deal with real life situations. We also are in a pandemic and some resources have been shut down. But as the old people used to say, where there is a will, baby, there is a way. And the first thing you have to do is to realize that you have been brainwashed. You have been brainwashed because love does not hurt. So if you're in a relationship and that person is beating on you, or that person is degrading you, or if that person is belittling you, if that person is taking your money, if that person is forcing you to do anything that you don't want to do, that includes sexual things, young lady, or even young man, you are in an unhealthy relationship and you don't have to. You have to know that you deserve better, that love does not hurt, love does not try to control you, love does not manipulate you, love is kind, and love is patient, and love is gentle, love is understanding. And if that's not what you're getting, you need to reevaluate that situation. Abusers have the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality. Some days The relationship is the best thing that ever happened to you. That's the honeymoon stage. But then something happened and you can feel the tension building. You start getting mean looks, or they start getting slick with their tongue, or they start threatening you. If you are in an abusive relationship, you know what I'm talking about. You start feeling the vibes like, okay, the honeymoon is about to be over. That is not how relationships are supposed to be. You should not be in a relationship where you have to walk on eggshells. And for those that do not know what an abusive relationship is, one word: control. They control you with their fists. They control you with their tongue. They control you with their eyes. They control you with fear. That is an abusive relationship in a nutshell. You were not born to be somebody's punching bag. Just know that. I understand, based on your environment, based on life experiences, sometimes you may get yourself into things and you don't realize that you are in an unhealthy relationship because you may have grown up in a home where you saw nothing but chaos. So chaos seemed like the norm to you, but you can have peace even if it's by yourself. When you in anything that causes you fear, to hide, to separate yourself from family so that they don't know what's going on. You have to hide bruises. You can't speak to your family on the phone. You can't go nowhere freely. Your time is being watched like you in prison. You are really in prison, a homemade prison, and you don't have to live that way. I was reading this article and it really disturbed me. Even though I am a domestic violence advocate and have been for many years, some of the stories that I hear, they still shock me because the mind of an abuser, when I say that people are doing the most, they are doing the most. So the article was talking about a young lady who was married and she and her husband got into a disagreement about something. And this also has to do with a narcissistic personality. Whatever the disagreement was about, this husband did not speak to his wife for 6 months after the argument. How can you live in a whole house with someone and not talk to them for 6 months? In what world do they do that? Like, it's mind-boggling to me. The end of the story is this young lady had a nervous breakdown. Love does not do that. The abuse, the tactics that people use to break you down, he broke her down. That was his objective. That's crazy. Someone sent me a message. There was a young girl on Facebook and she was asking people for help. And she said, my boyfriend loves me, but he beats me up every day. And I love him too. And I don't want to leave him. He says that he's beating me up because he's testing me to see. He said he is testing me so he can see if I can deal with his anger. Did y'all hear me? If I can deal with his anger. So he beats me up every single day. Now, she had the before picture and she had the after picture. This young lady was a beautiful young lady. When I looked at her picture, she looked like one of those young ladies that would be in a pageant. Beautiful chocolate brown sister. Got a man that's using her face as a punching bag. Her eyes, her face was so swollen. She was unrecognizable. And she was asking people for help. So I did what I could. But you know what? It's mind control. When someone has control over your mind and your self-esteem is shot, they can tell you that dogs have begun to fly. And you know that you have never seen a dog flying. But some of them are so convincing, they will have you questioning rationale. Which is why you do get angry, but you can't judge. Because you don't know that young lady or that young man's mindset. Mind control. Which is why We have to tell our young women that they are beautiful, that they are loved, that their bodies is precious, that their mind is precious, and that they do not have to allow anyone into their life that is not worthy to be there. We have to tell our young men, this is the way that you treat a woman. A woman is not cattle. You do not own her. She is not your possession. She is to be loved. She is to be caressed. She is to be honored. But they can't do that when some of them are just duplicating what they see. If they grow up in a home where there's nothing but cussing and fighting, they think that all relationships go that way. And that's not true. You teach them how to communicate. They learn from you. So I encourage you, young lady, young man, to know that love don't hurt. In a normal relationship, people do have disagreements. But if I have to curse you out, if I have to beat on you, if I have to use fear tactics to get you under my control, those are not signs of love. That's control, and I'm not here for it. And neither should you be. Let me leave you with this. The heart that's meant to love you will fight for you when you want to give up. Pick you up when you're feeling down, and will give their smile when it's hard for you to find yours. They will never, I repeat, never get strength from seeing you weak, power from seeing you hurt, or joy from seeing you cry. The heart that is meant to love you wants to see the best of you, not the hurt you. Never forget that. By Trent Shelton. Love does not hurt, young lady. Love does not hurt, young man. Now, if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by using my Cash App at $RWeston252. Now, until we meet again, go and grab yourself a mirror. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I am loved, I am unique, and I am valuable. Now, give yourself a kiss. That's a kiss from me to you. Know that I love you and I got your back. Thank you, Bringing the Heat listeners. To listen to this podcast, go to anchorfm.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Play, where we bring